alopecia. Now, my next guest does a remarkable job. He helps people with hair loss through cancer or alopecia. Ali Nowrozi is the founder of Masumi Headwear, Avakino, I think it's also known as, and he creates wonderful headpieces, and I'm pleased to say he joins me in the studio now. Welcome to the program, Ali. How are you?
Thank you very much. So, thank you for having me.
Well, you're most welcome, and thank you for coming in to talk about something that's quite remarkable. And tell us first, how did you start to create headpieces for people who clearly have a need for headpieces because they're going through a difficult time? So tell us your tale of how it all began, first of all.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me again. Very good question. So I had experience working with a company which they used to make wigs for people with cancer. So I had a background and understanding about the market, about people who going through hair loss, people with cancer or alopecia. And during the time, I was there for 11 years. I was a manager there. And whenever I used to go to these hospitals, I noticed sometimes patients don't want to wear a wig because sometimes it's too complicated. They don't know how to look after it, how to maintain it. So it was a very simple concept. Just the idea was for me to maybe create something exciting, seasonable. So my idea was to make a fashionable design, headwear, which is changes it for every season. We have a collection for spring, summer, and another collection in autumn, winter. And we only use sustainable materials, materials which are kind to the skin, such as bamboo fabric. We make a double layer, so it's not stitchy. It's not as it's it's comfortable on the head, and it makes them cool and yes. So I started.
Basically, you saw a niche in the market, didn't you? Whilst you were working in that area.
Absolutely. So there was something that we needed to do. Obviously, I always had this in my mind. I wanted to start, and you always have this fear. What if things goes wrong? But I overcome that fear, and I went for it with all my love and power and passion I had. So thank God we are 7 years down the line. And
7 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And
so when initially observing and thinking, there is a need here, how then did you take that first step in order to create your first turban or hats? How did you first go about it? Did you go home and speak to your family and say, look, this is what I'm going to do now?
Yes, of course. A lot of talking, a lot of soul searching, a lot of research, a lot of going back and forth, and trying to really do the foundation right. The concept was for me to make sure that we create something amazing. I didn't want to just go out with a product. I wanted to make sure that there is a full package there for the people, because I really understood what the needs are after the 11 years being around with those people. So I had to go out and find the best suppliers. I was going to exhibitions. I was talking and making samples, showing to people, and I started from home. My business started from home, and with the support of my family, of course. I had, of course, the great support of the organization called Business Growth Hub, which is set up by government, which they were amazing. So you had a one-to-one mentoring service.
And I suppose that's also the key area where people sometimes fail because they don't have that support or know-how how to set up their business, isn't it? Really?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there's so much support out there, and it's just obviously it's all about finding those right supports and tools and really going out and ask for help. So I didn't hesitate of that. I really went. I was trying to find out where I could get help. The Business Growth Hub is amazing. This is in Manchester. They're based in Manchester. They help a lot of small businesses the startups, and also the businesses that they are in the process of growing. So we are now still at that stage. So we are now in the second stage. We are growing now. We're expanding our market in the world, and now we still got our advisors. We still go to some sessions with helping us with regards to social media, supply chain. Of course, the traumatizing time of the Brexit and the COVID. These times, as an entrepreneur, you get really lonely, and it gets really daunting. So you need that help and support. So
and I suppose also you need the confidence to do it as well, isn't it? And having belief in yourself that this is something you can build on, because I'm sure there were probably moments of doubts as well.
There has been many times that I was hoping to say, "Gosh, I wish I had a 9-to-5 job." I didn't have to worry so much, because it was always a constant. You always have this challenge. You always have constant worries. What if? And things changes. As you probably everyone went through this traumatizing time of COVID time. With our business, we were mainly working with hospitals. Suddenly, all the hospitals stopped working with us. Imagine, we got our employees, we got all our setup. So we as a business, it was very challenging. Brexit also, but yes, you become very resilient as a businessman, as an entrepreneur. You learn to become resilient. You try to always find different ways. You always think about what to do next, and and our aim is always to always help people and to do something good. And that really helped us, because the feedbacks and the return from that really was always our fuel to go even further. So that's really true for us.
Well, okay, Ali, we'll discuss some more about the designs and how you go about designing something like this, and we'll also show you some of the designs on Twitter as well. But stay there. We'll just get an update on the traffic and travel.
BBC Radio Manchester and BBC Radio Lancashire.
And it's 6:45, and joining me in the studio is Ali Naurozi, who is the founder of Masumi Headwear, Avakino, and he creates these wonderful headpieces for people who suffer from cancer and or alopecia. And Ali, we were looking through the designs, and I was just chatting to you about how you got into it and how you used to help with designing wigs back in the day. Just talk us through that process and what that experience was about for you, because that clearly lends to your designing of these headgears. So tell us a little about that, and your experience there.
Yes, of course. Wigs was completely a different world for me. It was really fascinating. I mean, I did my degree. I did mathematics. I have no idea how I ended up in that industry. Right. But honestly, when I ended up there, I just became so fascinated and in love with the whole process and how things were. You could transform someone with these wigs, because you hear wig, you think it's something fake and it's not looking real. Everyone could point out and it says you're wearing a wig. I work with 11 years for people with cancer and wigs. I can go in the street and I still cannot sometimes recognize someone wear a wig. That's how real.
That's how real they are. So do they use actual real hair then?
So no, there are two types. So actually most of them are synthetic hair. They look very natural. They actually got memory, so whenever they wash their wig, it actually gets the style back, because it comes in so many different styles and they come in different colors. They even got roots and they've got highlights, and they're beautiful. They're very beautiful. And they've got, of course, human hair. And interesting enough, to tell you something, human hair, actually the most popular and expensive human hair is actually hair from India and Pakistan and Asian market.
Really?
Because is historically they're known because of their diet and the way that they, and of course, as you know, with religious, they leave their hair long, and it's very soft. And also is very durable, so actually could take a lot of torture of bleaching and coloring, right, because it's such a good hair.
And
so
plus, I suppose they also have a tradition of oiling the hair regularly as well over there.
Absolutely, so and it's the best hair. It's most expensive hair actually. So, right. And each hair, in the factory, it actually sewn in to the wig cap, which is a very long process, and
so we have like so many charities over here that say if you cut your hair, and then we can use that for wigs. So that's still, it is something that does work then, clearly.
Absolutely.
Not everyone's going towards this synthetic hair.
Absolutely. One of the really good charities is called Little Princess Trust. They offer human hair wig for free to children, and it's an incredible charity. And that's a lot of people do that. They go and donate their hair. They go to their hairdresser, they cut their hair, and they just give it. And then we used to send it to the factory, and they used to make a wig for that person from that hair. So it's really incredible
process as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is amazing.
Very rewarding.
But then from that, as we mentioned earlier, you found a niche in the market to design your own different headwear.
Yes.
So let's talk through some of the designs. So the first one we've got over here which is it's like a long piece of, it's a strap,
Scarf,
basically,
yeah.
scarf. And this is something a lady would tie around the head in a turban form, or would it just be fed through another hat like this?
Yes, so it's actually, it comes with a combination of the hat and the scarf. So those scarves, this is one of my most popular designs because it's very you can do so many different designs with this. The hat is made from bamboo fabric, and one of the features with the bamboo fabric is that actually it adjusts to temperature of the body of the patient. So the patient gets hot flushes, it cools them down, and when they get cold, it warms them up, which is incredible. And those fabrics, actually, they designed and printed in Italy. So I found this incredible designs that I bring in, and we sew them here, and then obviously we combine them together with a hat, and they wear it, and they could. So it's more like a luxury. It's a luxury. We're trying to make a luxury headwear, but it's also affordable for people, so they could feel good, and they actually. One of the most beautiful things that when the patients email us and they're saying that I get so many compliments by people out there saying how lovely.
And I was going to come to that.
Yes.
So, and what is the response from women in particular who, hair is important for men, but we lose it as naturally at a certain stage in life. But when you're ill, of course, or if you have alopecia and there's hair loss, that affects your confidence, doesn't it? But Absolutely. When you have a headgear that looks good on them, that makes them feel comfortable, you must get a remarkable response, a positive response from people, I take it.
Absolutely. We are very, very proud of that. That is really our fuel for us to do more, and to, whenever we go through these sleepless night and these sometimes very difficult, challenging moments, is that when we get these emails and these messages, we are gold star on our FIFO, 4.9 score in the Trustpilot. These are all the feedbacks that these people are leaving for us, saying that, they feel so good going out, wearing our headwear.